All right, team, moving on to just some general functions of Podio, a couple little cheats before I go into how to create a filtered view for yourself and then how to use the filter system here just to search things, and then more importantly how to tag things. I'm going to show you quickly here just some general functions of Podio. So at this point you should have loaded your super menu. You ought to be able to navigate pretty quickly from one page to the next now that that function is activated on your personal computer. From there, just a heads up on what we're looking at. So if you take a look at the top right hand corner here, you got two icons that I want to bring your attention to. The first is a little text box. Notice that I have a little green dot there where somebody sent me a couple text messages inside of Podio, so you are able to go through a directory there, use that to reach out to other agents and make contact. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that to be the be-all, end-all, just because people are more than likely going to answer an email or text or even something more direct like a Facebook message. Then they may be willing to check that out. So don't put absolutely ridiculously important information there. I mean, if you're reaching out kind of saying hi or like, hey, what's going on, or hey, can you tell me this or whatever, but if you're expecting immediate results, probably the last place I would put the most important information, but it is available. The next one over is your actual notifications. And notifications are something that gets set on basically anything that there is that is attached to your name. So as anything has anything to do with you, you're going to receive a notification. You also will receive notifications based on tasks that you set yourself. A task is when you have a lead entered into the system here. You'll have an option at the bottom, almost like a personal assistant type, to select a task, create yourself this notification to be able to follow up in the future. So again, notifications come right there. Lastly, if this is your first rodeo inside of Podio, you want to scroll this little member account profile down and select a couple things. One, add your profile picture, please. And two, go into your account settings and you can adjust what you do receive Podio notifications on. Like you're going to notice I have 100. Well, that was like in one day, but I don't really need to see all those. I could go in and select what I did want to see, which might be when somebody mentions my name or when somebody moves around one of my leads or something of that nature where I want to be notified of something. So you can play with those settings. Lastly, I just wanted to show you really quickly what it can mean when you're using a filter. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the one workspace that everybody's invited to, which is just the Catalyst Solutions page. This is a home page, basically just lays out our apps. So if you're in here and you're going to enter in a company that we've just sold, you go here. That's where your lead go. If you actually sell that contract, I'm going to show you how to tag that and make it an open contract, or basically something that we've received a signature on, and then we're going to show you how to park that thing over here in sales. This sales will house that information. It's also used by recruiters to figure out what you may or may not need help on for staffing purposes, and there's some indication bars on there from progress to tell us whether we're waiting on paperwork or we're actually in progress of recruiting or etc. I'll show you guys all that in later videos. So right here, workers will come in. So basically anybody that you've gone out there, if you found an electrician, for example, not a client, but an actual worker that can go out there onto a job site, this is where you open up the app and start plugging those men in. No different really than this old candidate and old sub, which is basically just apps where we house the older versions of these guys. So if they've been in there for 30 days, we drift them on over there. Okay, so really simple stuff. Recruiting is basically recruiting docs, are just where you receive some documentation for recruiting. So if you need to send paperwork out to a worker, for example, this is where you would find it. If you need additional training videos, a recap on your fast track training in addition to new trainings, that is where you find them at your early stages, days and weeks. I strongly encourage you to live in there and learn everything that you can. Old companies is really just where we hold older companies in there, not really a big source for you guys for whatever reason. And then the home reps is a management app only, unnecessary for you to ever be in there. So other than that, that's really all you have. And then lastly, leaving you with this, just a function or a tool that Podio has on every single page. So whether you're in the leads app, whether you're in the sales app, whether you're in a workers app, it doesn't matter. If you want to navigate and filter a view, a search, and find certain data down in the midst of all this other data, your best friend is right here. So this filter is really the only one of these little functions you play with. So you don't touch this one or 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 this one. You really only use this one. This filter is, again, just to minimize what I am seeing. It's kind of like Google for Podio, right? So I'm going to open it up and it's going to ask me what I want to filter out. So in this case, I wanted to see some of my own leads. So versus the leads of maybe somebody else or all of everyone, like right now they're all there. So if I open up this filter, I can scroll down, and one of the most commonly used filter searches, because you won't use very many of these, is the sales rep. I would locate whoever's lead I'm trying to find, or one of my own. One of the functions may be where, let's say, for example, this Ashley Flowers calls me and says, hey, look, go into the filtered views and filter out a job, my last couple jobs. It's the last one I entered in. I would be able to do that and see exactly which job she's talking about. Instead, though, I just want to see what some of my leads look like, so I'll select myself and then select off in the margin, and voila, any deal that my name is associated with, when I pull it up, my name would be attached as the sales rep. So I've just basically effectively filtered out the view for myself. Now I can add multiple layers of filters. So I can also go and look at anything from when I created it to when I last edited it to certain tag words, which I'm going to show you in the next video. I might want to find, for example, hot companies. I'm going to first show you how to create one of those hot tags, and then I'm going to show you how to go back out and filter it, which is really what you would do here. So if I wanted to see my name and filter out a word, for example, like hot companies, I've now selected not only my companies, but I've also selected my hot companies. And so out of that list you just seen, these three are the ones that showed up. At any given point, I can open the filter up and just clear out these filters where I don't have any filters. And by doing that, you can open this up, see what all filters are selected, clear them all at one time or individually select them. And I can always just go right back in and redo it if I wanted to see what I was looking at. Or I can add different types of filters. Maybe I just want to see, and I'll go by the trade here, my leads that are electrical in nature, and it will only bring those up. And if I was done with that view, I could see what all filters I've applied. I can drop the electrical, and maybe I needed to see what kind of leads I had in plumbing, which shouldn't be hardly any. So there's 8 out of the 1,400 were me in plumbing. And so here those ads are. So again, your filter function, you can't break it, but you do want to play with it. And what that will do for you is allow you to create and save these views. So let's just save this one particular view. I've gone in, I've selected me, I've selected my plumbing companies. Again, it could have been a tag word. I could even add the tag word on top of this and choose my companies that are plumbing, that are hot. I can do whatever I want here for a customized view of the data. What do I do then? So I want to see that view every time I log in. I don't want to have to go and do the filter thing every single time, right? So when I come in, I scroll over to the right where this says reports, because I'm going to create a report. The little plus symbol beside the word is what you're looking for. And this drop down appears every time. This first box you never have to touch. I'm just showing you that it's there. It's just kind of part of their menu. You just don't need it. It says items per none. You will adjust this, and I always adjust this down to the one that says sales rep. It's going to be you, basically, is what you're choosing as a filter. You could play with the other ones and see what other kind of results it gives you as far as what Podio can do for you. But in this instance, we are creating filtered views of the data that you want, and you always would select the sales rep option here. This other stuff is, again, just the way it charts. It doesn't matter. I don't touch any of this. As far as descending value and all that, I don't touch any of that. So the only thing I would have changed here was I would have chose the sales rep in this drop down. Everything else stayed the same. And I hit the green button that says next. Choose the title. This is what you want to call your view. What are you saving? In this case, I was saving my plumbing companies. So I might put on there, literally my. I can call that whatever I want. I am the only person that sees that. I don't even see that. So this is on your private view. Now, the next box down, unit, leave blank. But this last step is the most important. This is where most people mess up. It says save the app. They forget to do this. You always want to save this to your homepage. If you save this to workspace homepage, we're all going to see your view, which is fine. I'll just delete it and you'll have to go get it again. But you're not going to be able to find it if you do that because it's not going to show up on your homepage. You have to select your homepage, and now you're ready to save the report. So notice I've named it My Plumbing Companies. We've got our little view down here. It shows me that there's 8 companies in the view. I'm saving that to your homepage. And when I hit save, it kicks me out. Where? To my homepage. What should I be seeing? My submission, my new tile, which now gives me that filtered view. I can do that for my companies. I can do that for my hot companies. I can do that for my follow-ups. I can really set one of those filtered views for anything. It's important to play with it, and it's important on day one because as you start to enter in companies, you want to be able to have a filtered view for those every time. And so what I would have done is I put a couple companies in, make sure that I tag them as my name, blah, blah, blah. You'll hear that in other videos. But ultimately go in and save this view. So anytime I add a new one to the database, it automatically filters out the rest of them. And I only see the companies I'm working with. And then from there, one of the next few videos I'm going to show you is how to tag those leads to where you can filter them out even further and label them hot, for example, and how you can create another tile that only pulls those ones out. So in this case, I had, I think, 2 or 3 hot plumbing companies. I could have saved a similar view, but a different one right here that only looked at my plumbing companies that were hot. And that way, if I knew I needed to follow up within a day or two or whatever my system was, I would have those pull aside to be able to do so. So hopefully this was able to square some things away from you as far as filtered views. I'm going to show you in the next couple videos how to tag some of those videos and then how to set your own personal tasks for some of those videos. And then we're going to move right on into some of the heavier recruiting training and then, of course, transition into the sales and then show you how to put it all together. Thanks, guys.